Is it fair to say, Prince, that you've lost confidence in the 2027 election, even though it is a year away?
I have not lost confidence in the election. I've lost confidence in President Bola Ahmed Tinubu and the leadership of the National Assembly. And not only me, majority of Nigerians have lost confidence in them because President Tinubu is in trouble with the people. He's not delivering results, and he doesn't want the people to inspect his work. Therefore, he's putting roadblocks in the way of the voter, in the way of the citizens to say, come and explain to us. Because he believes that in their own class of politics, in their own school of politics, if we can call it politics, that you do not go to the people to ask for power. You are wasting your time. People like us who go to the people to campaign, ask for power, you are wasting our time. You grab the power, you snatch it, you run away with it. That is what he believes. And this is legislative snatching of power. So we are still going to defeat Tinubu in this country. We are still going to defeat him handsomely and defeat the APC handsomely. But he has put another burden in the way of people, another shadow of doubt in the mind of the voter. So we have to now go back to boost the confidence of the voter to say all hope is not lost. Just come out. It's also going to make the voting center more like a vigilante place. If the law had been passed the way all of us agree majority, all of us would have gone there as democratic.
The majority voted on the electoral amendment bill.
No, look at, you have been covering National Assembly for some time. Have you ever seen a carpenter with a hammer? Hammering away like that?
But you look at the numbers, APC has the majority in both chambers.
Then put it to vote.
That's what they did in the Senate.
They did not.
That's what they did in the Senate.
No.
55 against 15, overwhelmingly.
No. The House is one, the Senate is one, the House is one.
So they took a voice vote in the House of Representatives.
There was no voice. That's not voice vote. That's a shouting match.
Right.
And even there, you can play the tape for history. The deputy speaker, I don't know whether he was a carpenter before or an auctioneer, was not interested in listening to his colleagues. He was hammering away like a hammer and nail situation. Point of order, don't bang, bang, bang. That is not how civilized people behave. At the end of the day, even if you manage to cook up a suborn majority in the National Assembly, if what you are legislating about is not mere government policy, government contract, if it's something fundamental to the country, something that is contained in our fundamental bills like Chapter 2, Chapter 4, what the majority say outside is binding on National Assembly.
Has that been established? That the people who are opposing what played out are in the majority? Has that been established?
Go and read the report of the House of Representatives and read the report of the Senate. They wrote it by themselves. They went around the country and did town hall. They did public hearing. And they wrote their own report. You are a journalist. Tell your producer, call me back. Check what they wrote. Last minute, they started sending text messages to themselves and said, no, Oga said we should change this thing. And they started doing all this, rolling themselves back.
Oga being
the people you saw in the picture signing what Nigerians are crying about.
Right.
Because if you look at it, the House said rescission of their own decision. They sat and took a decision and did their third reading and said, we are done with the bill. Now, the Senate went into executive session. No issues raised. Then they came out between the Senate president and a few rabble-rousers. They started saying, no, let's go back to the old one. And there was uproar everywhere. Now, they cook up this patch and put a proviso, thinking that they could undermine the will of the people. But they went out and did public hearing. And majority of Nigerians have told them what we want. And in any case, how is this supposed to be controversial? All we are asking for are clear rules, unambiguous rules, which if where APC has majority of votes, it will favor them. Where SDP has majority of votes, it will favor us. Where any other party has majority, it will favor them. And overall, when you aggregate together, it will favor the electorate. and we will have a legitimate government that people can say, with the way our election system works, for this man to be sitting on this seat, it means that even though I didn't vote for him, there are a majority of Nigerians who voted for him other than me.
So
that is not the case now.
Section 60, subsection 3
yes.
is a big enough deal that you're willing to throw away the baby and the bathwater to say that the Electoral Act is no good.
There's no baby there. The government itself has confiscated the baby and brought you an effigy. What we are saying is that no government that full of people have taken oath of office of allegiance to the republic and who have said that they are going to do things without bias, no fear or favor, not whether it favors them or not, is going to put an obstacle in the fundamental right of the people to choose their leader. What we are saying is that that proviso is in bad taste, is in bad faith. It does not serve any purpose. It is redundant there, except that it is a reversal of the mandatory nature of electronic transmission. And electronic transmission goes to the heart of the sanctity of the results at the polling unit. So these things are relevant. Any other decorative, administrative, other provisions you put in the Electoral Act, notwithstanding, the heart of the matter is that elections take place in the polling unit. And this section 60 addresses what takes place in the polling unit, and that is where they came to do their legislative mischief and draftsmanship calamity.
You heard what the president said. Said all this hue and cry is over nothing. Our electoral process is still basically manual, the arithmetic of it all, the processes and what have you. And he also expressed concerns about glitches because of how technology can sometimes be unreliable. He also made mention of hacking concerns and things like that. When the president said those things, is there a part of you that wanted to believe that, yeah, there is some logical reason to that?
I'm sorry to say, President Bola Ahmed Tinubu is not an honest leader. He's a leader who is deceiving the people and in the process deceiving himself. Why? One, whether voting is manual or not is not relevant. What is relevant is the evidence of what is voted. We are not saying that give us beavers that has a voting machine capacity. No. If we are saying when we are voted with our thumb on the piece of paper and it's been counted, let us immediately audit it, record it by sending a copy to the INEC server.
Yeah.
That's what we are saying. It should not come with any kind of bala blue. What we are saying is that if he's talking of hacking, how come he's not worried about people hacking the voter register? Because the voter register is what Beavers is using to read your card and confirm that the information on that card is what is contained in INEC server that has electronic register of voters. That is why we are not using our ordinary eyes to confirm your voter's card. We put it in the machine. The machine will say, authenticate it that it is true. Then that's where we now go to the manual register and take it. It's a dual process. You cannot undermine one for the other. There is no way the hacking is relevant because what we are doing is that the result is still in your hand. But we have 7 political parties, police, DSS, civil defense, whatever, etc., and all of that. Each one there has a copy. If you look at the case of Hope Uzodinma that he used to get himself into the government, it is the result brought by the police and law enforcement that they used, not the result brought by INEC. If we had done electronic transmission, that argument will not arise. They will not say, yes, because we will have only one common reference. That is why today, if you show me your Nigerian passport, I don't argue whether it is fake or genuine. It's not my business. All I need to do is go to Nigerian Immigration Service, scan that passport. it will show your name. If you get to the airport, they already have it, IATA has it. So when any airline scans your passport, you can have a Nigerian passport and you're in Pakistan, and Pakistani airline is carrying you. When they scan your passport, they will see that this passport is NGA, issued by Nigeria. This is the number. So why are they not worried about hacking that one? So what kind of situation? If you buy a ticket...
Are you saying the president is not well informed, and that's why he expressed those concerns?
The president is not well informed. The president is misinformed. The president is ill-intentioned. And the president doesn't care to be informed. And the little information he has is using against the people. So the president is not honest. And the leader needs to be honest. He's not honest on this occasion. So, and we know that. I know Nigeria is fooled about that. The president is not technology illiterate as he's trying to present. He knows that nobody can hack it. What he's worried about is that this is a system in which nobody has control. Once you score 10 votes, and I score 10 votes, the other person scored 10 votes, and we scan it, I can't turn my own to 11. Even though he's president and has power, I can't turn it to his own 11. Everybody gets whatever vote the people gave. But the system they have now, gives room for somebody to say, well, the machine I have, the temperature is too high. There's no... so people will be arguing there. How come I have signal on my phone? You say you don't have signal. You are not living here today unless you send this thing.
These are all hypothetical situations.
You
could also say, what if nothing goes wrong on election day and everything gets uploaded to the IREF?
We do not legislate for what if. We legislate for what the law wants.
Yeah, but that's the reality of life, isn't it?
The reality of life
there is no guarantee, especially when human error is involved.
You cannot write everything we do in law. The university you attended cannot write that this certificate is issued to Shafiu, Professor. However, anybody who holds it in his hand is Shafiu.
Yeah, but
don't do that.
But Prince, I don't think that's a fair analogy.
That's a fair analogy because law wants certainty. That's what I'm giving to you. You cannot give me CFO and say this plot 111 is my land. The currency note cannot say this is 500 naira note, provided that if one of the digits is missing, whatever figure it is, that's what the naira is. That's not how to make laws.
We have so many sections in the Nigerian Constitution that has alternatives, whether it's about citizenship, whether it's about
call the speaker, call the Senate President, call me.
Right.
Let us go through the Constitution, call the clerk, National Assembly, and see whether there's any provision in any law that looks like this one. This one is a proviso by way of counter-provision. It is not done. You are countermanding the law within the law.
So you're saying there is zero chance that if we say compulsory electronic transmission of results via the beavers on election day, there is zero chance that anything could go wrong with the technology on election day?
There is zero chance of anything going wrong outside that law. Why? Already, in ordinary life, beavers performs 90-something%. The Constitution of Nigeria and our electoral jurisprudence looks for substantiality, not perfection. Look for substantiality. Even if you have, out of 136,762 polling units, if you have 6,666 where something went wrong, INEC will countermand that result, and has to come back and vote. We'll bring you a better beavers. We must vote again and electronically transmit it. And if they declare the result, the court will look at it. If the gap between the winner and the runner-up is 3 million votes, and the places where the witchcraft that National Assembly is legislating over, that witchcraft affects some polling units. If it is just 6,000 votes affected and the gap is 3 million votes, court will say, don't bother about those ones. Declare the winner, you can go and do whatever you like with those ones. Go and cast the vote again. If it's so, that is what we are doing. There is nothing they are adding other than confusion.
Right. But to be fair, if we have to read the section itself, electronic transmission to IREV is compulsory. However, if it fails, and that's why I want you to dispassionately talk about the possibility of technology malfunctioning, especially on the biggest stage, which is the general election, for instance, right? We do know that because of our regular interaction with technology, whether it's our mobile phones, our TV sets, small technology, big technology, small equipments, big ones, there is a chance of failure, isn't it? Isn't this a reasonable provisor to have?
It is an unreasonable provisor. Let me look at it this way. If you go to your bank to do transaction and you give the bank 2 million naira to transfer for you and the transfer fails, you know it happens in 0.1% of transaction. Proviso is that if you give your bank money to transfer for you, they must transfer the money. However, if the machine fails, the money is no longer yours.
Yeah, but this one says, if it fails, the physical result sheet.
What they should say...
Which is actually what is going to be...
No, what they should say is that if it fails...
Right.
If they want to put first if it fails, they will say where it fails, the returning officer will come back and conduct the election again.
Why are you conducting the election
because
again? This is just uploading the results.
No, because that will make them not to make it fail. And where it fails, people will know that if where it fails, you stay there. Remember that you don't have to send it only one time. You come back there again, and you do it again.
So the fact that it says, if it fails, the physical result sheet, which is from EC8A, becomes the primary source of collation and results declaration.
We don't want it to be the primary source because historically...
But our election is already on paper, isn't it?
No, you don't. Let us understand something. It's not the paper we're fighting. Let us not confuse any issues. The paper is subject to manipulation. It's not, we are not an anti-paper society. We are saying that the reason why your university doesn't give you your transcript by yourself to take it to the next school is that you can manipulate and go from third class to first class with your own hand. That's why your university seals your transcript. Is it not based on paper? What we are saying, that is why we make our checkbook to have all kind of vignette, clear window, kinogram, so that you don't forge the currency, you don't forge the check. So the paper, that result sheet, historically has a record of being duplicated, manipulated, altered, and all of that. To save it. If the machine fails, you try again. You call your officer, they bring another machine. They try again until it goes. That's not an issue. And INEC, when they do their simulation, they will have spare beavers. They have spare SIM cards, relay of SIM cards. They will put this one, this, I don't want to call their names so you don't charge me for advertising. This one. So all the various carrier, they will put there. They have also budget, an ability to also add satellite to, because all, from Iwu's time, polling units had their GPS location. So you can beam signal there for the purpose of the election. So there are many things you can do. So what that language they put there is to give the impression that we use the word compulsory, but if you can sabotage it somehow, have a little problem, that's
the ulterior motive.
That is the ulterior motive which they have already expressed. So,
and do you think INEC is on board with this?
INEC is supposed to obey the law. INEC is not as powerful as you think. INEC is an independent body by law, but it cannot violate the law. So INEC...
So who's going to tell INEC not to go with the first option, which is compulsory uploading of INEC results?
Is what INEC tries to do. You could see in this current election we are doing area council, INEC said we will transmit real time. And people in power started complaining. Well, INEC said, oh, not real time, really. So what I'm letting you know is that we interact with INEC all the time. they are Nigerians. They also want the election to go free and fair. And every INEC chairman who is put on that hot seat doesn't want to be an effigy of sabotage. He doesn't want to be seen as an unpatriotic person, because many of them tend to be people who otherwise have achieved something in their life before coming. But that seat can mess you up. Therefore, they try their best to try to encourage their workers, adult staff, everybody, to try to follow the law. But the spectacular calamity of this present law is that law itself, which the INEC chairman will ask you to follow, which your commissioner will ask you to follow, your rec will to follow, is already creating ambiguity in its own text. So the excuses you will give to your superior, they will say, have you lost your mind? How can you say where you are, you had no signal? How can you say the thing did not work? The thing that works. The law has already covered you. Which means this is
so it boils down to INEC officials on election day.
It boils down to their conscience, but normally it should boil down to the law. Right. So this is what they have done now. This is Bola Ahmed Tinubu Election Rigor Excuse and Protection Act. That's what he's saying now.
All right. I mean, your words, not mine.
Yes, my words. My name is Adewole Adebayo, and I say that.
To put it diplomatically, yes. You sort of think this is a missed opportunity. It's a
missed opportunity for the president, but the voter, the democracy, we are not going to miss it.
But is there an antidote beyond this academic exercise of expressing your grievances and your disappointment, which other civil society...
It is not an academic exercise, it's a constitutional exercise.
I mean, do you think we're going to get an amendment before the next general election?
We are pushing for an amendment so that we strengthen the law.
Of a one-day-old law?
What we are saying...
One-day-old act?
Yeah, the earlier we did it, the better. But what we are saying is that even if there was no electoral act, under the military, we conducted under decree. We still ask the military to go. I know the tendency to behave like Major General Bola Ahmed Tinubu is there, but we are in a democracy. You can be Field Marshal Bola Ahmed Tinubu on election day. Despite all of these manipulations, when the people rise and come out, that is the end of that tyranny. And the tyranny of the majority, which in the House and the Senate, which is now being abused to undermine the majority of the public, will come to an end on election day. But it will go down in history that President Bola Ahmed Tinubu, Godswill Akpabio, Speaker Abbas, and the rest of their clique there attempted to snatch democracy from the hand of the Nigerian people. But Nigerian people did not allow them to grab it, snatch it, or run away with it.
So, the antidote is an amendment before 2027 or
people's action. People's action is superior to amendment by them. But for their own legacy, if they care about
action, when you say people's action, what exactly do you mean?
Nigerians will let the government know, and we will continue to let them know that what you have done is not good. And we will also remind them on election day that that thing you did not save you, because power comes from God. And the people of Nigeria will still defeat you despite all the legislative manipulation.
Prince Adewole Adebayo, as always, a pleasure. Thank you very much for the analysis.
Thank you very much, and Ramadan Kareem, and happy Lent to all our brothers and sisters, and God bless Nigeria.
Amen to that, as always. Appreciate you very much for stopping by. And that is a wrap on tonight's edition of the program. Daily Politics returns tomorrow live at 8 p.m. I'm Abdullahi Ahmed. From myself and the rest of the team, thank you for joining us. We'll see you next time.